Zelda Ocarina of Time was one of the scariest experiences as a child. That game scared me to death. Let me give you a few examples of what actually scared me and see if these things scared you too, because for some reason these things scared me. So, to start out, let's talk about the Peahats. These creatures, especially whenever you leave the Kokiri Forest, whenever you leave that, there's one right to the left of you. And whenever I was a child, I remember growing up avoiding these every single time I played the game because I did not like the fact that it got up out of the ground and started spinning towards you very, very slowly. That scared me as a child and gave me some PTSD. I did not like that at all. And to this day, I still don't like that. The Peahats are atrociously uncanny for me. And another thing that's really, really uncanny is the Anubis character in the Spirit Temple. For some reason, whenever you enter a room with one of these monsters in that room, it gets up slowly and it floats in the air and kind of mimics your movement. Like it mimics your walking direction. It mimics the direction you walk in. And it has no sound effects besides whenever I think it shoots fire or something. It's been a while since I played this, but I don't like the fact that it just follows you, basically, and mimics your walking direction. That is very uncanny, and that's something I just don't like at all. That is terrible. Something that I think is also a shared experience is the Forest Temple. Now, whenever you first enter, you get that really haunting melody that plays whenever you first enter the temple. And then once you make your way into the main room of the Forest Temple, the Poe sisters are there. Now that was scary. I remember as a kid, whenever I made it to this room for the first time, I stood there. I just stood there watching. I did not want to progress any further because I was scared as to what would happen next. That was literally something that I could not bring myself to do. I had to just stand there in that room, just watching them float in the air. That was a very, very scary experience for me. And the fact that the entire room is very, very dark makes that 10 times creepier. That is something that I am so glad I'm an adult for, because now it's not scary. It's a video game, obviously, but now it's just nothing. But back then, it felt so much worse than what it actually was. Forest Temple, besides the Shadow Temple was probably the scariest thing I've ever seen in Zelda Ocarina of Time as a kid. And then we move on to Dead Hand. I remember really, really way back then, there was this creepypasta of this one guy that got a cartridge, I guess from his attic, or he bought it from somewhere, a cartridge of the original Zelda Ocarina of Time game, and then he put it in, and then once he made it to the Dead Hand area, it was haunted or something. It remembered his name once he got the Lens of Truth or something like that, and then he shut the game off and then had visions or nightmares of Dead Hand actually right next to him. And I remember that creepypasta, and that made Dead Hand so much more scary because of that creepypasta. That creepypasta, I saw that, mind you, when I was 12 or 11 years old, something like that. I saw that really, really young, and that's enough to get me to not want to go defeat Dead Hand. That was scary. That made Dead Hand 10 times scarier. And the fact that Dead Hand actually uses his hands to grab you and hold you in place while he emerges from the ground, yeah, that's a no-go for me. That is terrible. I hate that so much. That's bad. And another thing that really scared me for no reason at all was inside the Great Deku Tree. Now, it wasn't the entire thing, but there's this one room before you go into the boss room. It's this one room. It's like a circle, and you crawl into there, and there's these Goma eggshells hanging on the ceiling. Now, whenever I first played the game, I walked into there blind, not knowing that those were above me, and then once they fell, gave me a jump scare, kinda. It gave me a small, subtle jump scare, and the fact that these little Goma creatures have one eye and they chase you, basically, like every other monster, obviously, but they chase you and they have one eye, and the eye is really big, and I don't like that. That scared me, and that made me, every single time I played this game, it's an instinctive reaction to always shoot those shells down, or to get very, very far away from them to avoid them, because those, for some reason, it gave me a scare. And yeah, so that's why Ocarina of Time was such a scary experience for me as a kid. All of these little tiny details that probably wouldn't be scary now, yeah, they were scary as a kid, because back then as a kid, the imagination ran wild. And you can imagine how I was feeling whenever I saw these things as a little kid. I thought they were so much worse than they were, and I'm glad that I'm an adult now, and obviously these things aren't going to be scary. But that was just my experience as a kid playing Ocarina of Time. So let me know in the comments, I guess, if you had any similar experiences with this game specifically that I might have missed, and I'll probably get back to you and we'll have a discussion. So thank you for watching, and goodbye.